Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, we're looking into a specific topic at the request from one of our viewers, the difference between traditional and Roth IRAs, individual retirement accounts. Let's jump right in. Now, definitionally, a traditional IRA is a retirement savings account where the contributions are tax-free and the earnings grow tax-deferred until withdrawal. What that means is you don't pay taxes on the money that you're contributing to the traditional IRA. These lower your tax liability in the current year and allows you to avoid paying taxes on them until you withdraw them in retirement. The Roth IRA, on the other hand, definitionally is a retirement savings account where contributions are made with after tax dollars, essentially, with the gains and qualified withdrawals afterwards in retirement being tax free. To jump into a little bit more detail on each, we'll start out with a traditional IRA. A traditional IRA, or a trad IRA if you will, allows for contributions to be tax-free, potentially lowering your tax liability now or this year. Growth and earnings with the account are going to be tax-deferred, so there will be no tax until you withdraw them later. Once you're retired, these withdrawals are subject to ordinary income taxes at the time of withdrawal, so just standard tax rates. Once you turn 73 years old, you are required to begin taking distributions from a traditional IRA if you have not done so earlier. Additionally, there are no income limits to open a traditional IRA, but there are contribution limits, a maximum per year that you can contribute. The big point for traditional IRAs is that there's a tax advantage up front, right now, with taxes to be paid later when you start withdrawing. As you can see in the bottom right, little playful image, a lot of people typically start looking at the Roth IRAs rather than the traditional IRAs because once you're retired, you don't want to have to pay the taxes. To continue jumping into further detail, let's jump into the Roth IRAs. Roth IRAs allow you to contribute money that has already been taxed, so there is no tax advantage right now. Now, it should be noted, the growth and the earnings within the Roth IRA account are not taxable. So there is no tax at a later point. Because you contributed the dollars after tax initially, you don't pay tax on all the gains that may happen up until the end when you start withdrawing. Thus, like the third point says, you can withdraw tax-free once you're over the age of 59 and a half if the account has been open at least 5 years or more. Additionally, unlike traditional IRAs and also unlike 401ks, there are no required minimum distributions for Roth IRAs. Similar to traditional IRAs, Roths also have a contribution limit, or a maximum per year. I think the biggest point here, though, is the tax advantage on a Roth IRA is later, with taxes paid now. As you can see on the bottom right, there's that playful little image, only had to pay tax on the seed, and look at that tree that person grew. A great example of someone really maximizing a Roth IRA is Peter Thiel. You might know that name for a variety of reasons, but I highly suggest looking into it. It's an interesting case study. Now, the big comparison, traditional versus Roth IRAs, the main differentiator between them realistically is the timing of the tax advantage. Traditional allows for a tax savings now, with taxes to be paid later, while Roth allows for tax savings later, with taxes being paid now. Generally speaking, Roth IRAs have fewer restrictions, but more liquidity and options. What really matters, though? Do you expect to have more taxable income now or later? The best answer here? It depends. Income may change like the seasons, and it may flow inward and outward. Ultimately, we must stay agile and leverage all tools available to us. Hopefully, the little cheat sheet on the right adds a little bit more insight and maybe something you could screenshot and take away with you from this video. The key takeaways, the decision of how much to put into what type of IRA is going to depend on your personal situation. Do you need the tax advantage now or later? Generally speaking, Roths are going to be favored over traditional IRAs, and this is largely a result of historical market returns. My biggest suggestion is you do your research. Don't be afraid to meet with a tax planner or a financial planner of some kind. I highly suggest you start one or both of these accounts if you have not already. These are very strong tools for retirement. And don't forget, like the playful image to the right, when we're talking about IRA, we're speaking about individual retirement accounts. quite the different meaning depending on which country you're in. That's all for today, but I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for sticking around, and I greatly appreciate the time. Feel free to comment on some other topic that you'd like me to cover. Happy to dive into anything. Catch you later.